Actually, why were you out for dinner, Sierra, Saturday night?
I was just trying to help. I was genuinely trying to help, as I would have done with the same with anyone else.
Why not tell Athena?
Because me and Sierra, we already walking on eggshells. Had it been anyone else, I would have told anyone else.
This season of Mafs is on fire. It really is. Because at the moment, we have two main things going on. We have Lauren and Elliot coming back with their new partners. And we also have Adrian having stormed off because he wasn't included in the promo shoot. And it's like, seriously, this man is not serious. Anyway, it turns out apparently Adrian then went on a date with Sierra, or he went for a dinner with Sierra, and Tony was there. And it's like, who was Tony, the chaperone or what? Make it make sense. The audacity for Sierra to continue to mess about with Adrian. How you get them is how you lose them. This man is going to make her cry. She's going to wish for Billy. She's going to wish for Billy. And what did we expect by bringing Elliot? I don't even know why he's back in the experiment. I really don't. He's not providing entertainment for us. So I'd rather he go home. And then Jackie and her husband, Ryan, please. Is the audacity for me. Anyway, hey there. Thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button. Turn on the notification bell when I upload new videos. And definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight Australia, Season 12, Episode 16. So Adrian still hasn't come back. He was in communication with his wife via text. But for some reason, he was still upset that he wasn't included in the promo. He went for dinner with Sierra and had the audacity to tell his wife that he went for dinner with Sierra and Tony, and it's like, make it make sense. So you're upset at the producers for not including you in the promo shoot, and instead of you coming to your wife and saying to your wife, let's go together and let's get this sorted out, you decide to take somebody else's wife. Make that make sense? And Billy also is feeling some type of way because he found out about the dinner later. They're still living separately with Sierra, and it's like Sierra knows what she's doing. Sierra didn't like Billy. Whether Billy, she expected him to be giddy about her or whatever, I don't get it. Or whether her ego is being boosted by the fact that Adrian likes her, I don't get it. Because Adrian, I don't see him being serious about anyone. I don't think he's ready for marriage. And this woman is in for a rude awakening when she realizes that all he wants is sex. You have all the couples getting ready for the dinner party. Corinna and Paul are trouble-free. They're always minding their business. You have Jeff and Ree. They're getting ready. They're in a good space. Tony and Morena. Somehow Morena has decided to mind her P's and Q's because she's the sweetest since she's been told off by John that, you know, you point, you're very confrontational, you're very... I think she's realized that she might not be getting a good edit, so she's decided to tone it down. They're wearing, you know, roses because they've decided to open a new leaf. And it's like, well, if that's what works for you, amazing for you. But I am side-eyeing you. I really am side-eyeing you. You have Jackie and Ryan. Their situation is crossing over to sort of Jeff and Ree. Because there's still the situation whereby Jackie sent a message to Jeff and she then denied that she didn't send it to Jeff. And so Ree still feels that it needs to be addressed because Jackie became emotional at the wedding, and so they had to brush past it. So I think they need to sit down, but I don't think they need to sit down at the dinner party. I think they need to wait for the experts, and Jackie needs to be called out in front of the experts because otherwise she's going to continue to throw tantrums and people are never going to get anywhere with her. In their own apartment, Jackie and Ryan, they've moved on. They're in a good space. They are hugging, they're kissing. They're saying we've made up. We've managed to sort of iron out our differences and we are at peace. And it's like, how did we get to peace? Tell us, because I don't know how they got to peace after they were throwing tantrums and he was saying at this moment, I really don't like her. Did they get to peace because they had a private conversation and realized that they wanted to be the drama so that they could be the main featured, you know, people this season? Make it make sense? You have Beth and TJ. Beth and TJ are another trouble-free couple. They're in a good space. They're happy to be going to their first dinner party. For everybody else, it's the third. For them, it's their first dinner party, so they're excited to meet everybody else again. What I love is they haven't even said anything about the Jackie situation at their wedding. They haven't even brought it up. So I love that. We barely got to see their honeymoon, and it's like, make it make sense. Was it that sort of trouble-free that the producers didn't see any need to show us? You have Lauren and Clint. They're in a good space. Lauren is very happy. I think she's realized that she can never do better than Clint, so she's decided to be on her best behavior. Clint, on his part, is anxious to go to the dinner party because this is his first dinner party, whereas it's Lauren's second. And so he knows people are going to be asking questions about Elliot. I love that they agreed that they were not going to talk about Elliot anymore and they were just going to focus on the two of them. But production have already said, hold my beer, because Elliot is about to come in and ruin their day. Elliot, on his part, he's with his wife. They're in a very good space. They're in a very good space with Veronica. Veronica believes what Elliot has told her, and she believes that he's been very truthful with her in regards how his marriage failed. And it's like, seriously, you are being very idealistic. You're living in the clouds. You've decided to bury your head in the clouds and pretend like you can't see the big red flag that is Elliot. If that's what works for you, amazing, but you're in for a rude awakening when his ex walks in. Part of me wishes they could film Married at First Sight Australia 24/7 like Big Brother. That way I could just watch, because it's a toxic mess. It's a train wreck. It's just going into the dumpster fire. Anyway, you have Adrian come back. He just rocks up in the morning. I think he knew it was the dinner party. So he rocks up, goes to his apartment, and the producers are saying to him, do you think you're going to get a warm reception? And he says, yeah, why not? So he walks into the apartment, and you have as Afina busy doing her makeup. So she just opens the door and goes back into the bathroom. She doesn't even say anything to him, and he is expecting an apology from her because she didn't check up on him. She pulled out her phone. There's so many messages to him, and yet he has the audacity to say she should have checked up on him. Why? Because you threw a fit, you threw a tantrum, and you want me to encourage that stupid behavior. No, I'm not. So he expected an apology because, he's been going through a lot. A lot means going for dinner with Sierra. That's the impression that I get. Anyway, all the couples get ready and get in their cars and go for the dinner party. Obviously, people are anxious to see what happens when they get there. They want to know who's coming and how are they coming. Are they coming on their own, or are they coming with somebody else? So it's going to be interesting to see the how they walk in. First to walk in is Ree and Jeff. They're in a very good space. They're very happy. So they're the first couple to walk in. They're followed in by Jamie and Dave. Jamie and Dave somehow have been doing very well. It's actually shocking, given the fact that you would have expected them not to get along, because he's very quiet and she's very loud, but somehow they seem to mesh and they seem to get along. They're followed in by Tony and Morena and their bright red outfits. They're in a very good space. They say, they're smelling the roses. They're turning over a new leaf. They've had an amazing week. And it's like, if that's what works for you, amazing. Next in is Corinna and Paul. Corinna and Paul have been a strong couple from the start. We barely get to see them. We only see small snippets of them, and then it goes back to everybody else, because they have been a very peaceful couple, and they seem very loving. You have Ryan and Jackie. They're in the car. They're busy talking about the fact that if anyone asks them, they're going to be very sort of minimalistic with the truth. And that way people don't sort of come at them, because they really don't want the drama of people coming straight at them instead of going at them back and forth. So they decide to be very minimalistic with the truth. And if that's what works for them, amazing. Next in, we have Beth and TJ. Beth and TJ are the newlyweds, and they seem to be doing very well for newlyweds. They really haven't had any drama. So they're coming into the, dinner party hoping to see what's going on and meet everybody else and see what's what. I love this for them. Then we have Jackie and Ryan. So before Jackie and Ryan walk in, you have people asking, are they going to walk in together? Are they going to walk in separate? What's going to happen? And they walk in arm in arm. And it's like, oh my God, people can't even understand it. I think everybody has got so much whiplash. They don't even know which side to face. So they just say, oh, it is what it is. And they just leave them alone. You have Ree. Ree decides she's not going to greet her, Jackie, because she still feels some type of way about Jackie sort of communicating with her husband behind her back. And it's like, this is the wrong person to be upset with, because I don't think she has the bandwidth to sort of realize that she's done something wrong. Jackie on her part is saying that Ree has to, get over it and, put on more or less implying that Ree has to put on a big girl panties. And it's like, but you've offended her. The least you can do is apologize. So you have Athena walking on her own. Everybody's really sad for her. You have the guys run and greet her. She is then pulled by the girls aside, and she sort of has a conversation with Morena, Ree, and Jamie, and she's telling them that apparently Adrian went home because he wasn't included in the promo, and then he went for dinner with Sierra. This has people's backs up because Sierra still hasn't arrived, because people are already feeling some type of way. This is just an opinion from me. I feel like Sierra and Adrian have decided to come into the experiment to create a lot of havoc. That way the producers choose to keep them and don't send them home, because otherwise it doesn't make sense why they would come back knowing for a fact that their marriages are over by the things that they've done. They could have easily gone home, tried to work on a new connection at home without including anybody else. But I think they love the idea of being on the show. So this is why they've decided to come back as though they're still interested in their partners. That way the producers can probably ask them to stay. So you have Billy walking next. Billy is walking in on his own, and people are already feeling some type of way because they was, the situation that was brought up at the dinner party whereby you had Sierra and Adrian confide in one another. So it seems the group has taken sides, and they are side Athena and Billy because they are the victims in this situation. Anyway, you have Sierra walking, and it's so quiet you could drop a pin and hear it. You could drop a pin and hear it. Everybody feels some type of way about these two people, and you can tell from their behaviors and their attitudes. Yeah, they do greet her, but Sierra feels out of place. She really feels out of place. So she tries to have a sit down with Athena and try and iron out issues. And Billy's saying, how is she doing that? Because apparently after Sierra had dinner with Adrian, she spent the whole day with Athena and didn't say anything. And so it's the audacity for me, the balls to sit down next to me and want to have a conversation. You should have done that off camera. She's doing this for attention. I think she's realized that with Billy, she might not get as much screen time, so she's decided to have a plot twist. Adrian walks in, everybody just stares at him. Everybody, no reaction, nothing. And so he also feels uncomfortable because nobody's paying him any attention. He tries to have a conversation with Athena. Athena's really not feeling it. He tries to make her smile because he knows her weak spots and he knows how to get to her. Athena eventually stands up and she goes and sits with Jamie. So he goes to pick himself a drink and comes back and sits right next to Sierra. Make that make sense. You couldn't even write that plot twist. You couldn't. The theatrics are just silly. So he sits next to her, and then you have Sarah saying, oh, don't sit next to me. Don't sit next to me. It's not a good look. And it's like, why is it not a good look? If everything is innocent, why are you worried what he says? If the two of you are not doing anything bad behind your partner's backs, why are you worried what he says? Anyway, you have Lauren walk in. Everyone is surprised to see Lauren because the girls and the boys really liked Lauren, and they felt sorry for her because her husband left her. And the guys had a chance to sit with Elliot at the bachelor party, and they'd heard him say that, if he didn't like his bride, he would walk. I think this is why they have a weak spot for Lauren. Everybody likes Lauren's new husband. They think he's amazing. And then just as soon as, she's saying, I don't want to hear anyone, I don't want to talk about Elliot anymore or hear about Elliot anymore. Guess who walks in? Elliot and Veronica. Obviously, the producers are going to be messy. So the waiter comes and says the dinner's ready, so everybody sits down at the dinner table. And they're going to let Elliot sit across from Lauren with her new husband and him and his new wife. And it's like, make it make sense. Why do we have to be so toxic? Why couldn't we allow them just 1 week of peace at least? Because you have people like Jeff. Jeff is not on board with this. Jeff is furious. He feels like, Elliot doesn't deserve a chance to get a second go round. So he asks him, why are you here? Last time you didn't even come to the dinner party. Why have you lasted longer with Veronica than you did with Lauren? This is what I think. I think Elliot is really attracted to Veronica and is trying to do anything and everything to impress her. So he's been putting his best foot forward, and she has got this impression of this man, and suddenly to be sat in a room where everybody's going at her husband is something she didn't expect, because you can see from the look on her face that she's taking everything in. And so you have Elliot say, I don't have any reason to apologize. I haven't done anything wrong. And so Lauren then starts to list, you told me you wanted about 4 children or more. You told me you wanted someone who was about 25 years. You told me that I wasn't physically fit because I go to the gym once. So for him to continue to deny was just another nail in his coffin. Because at the end of the day, he should have either tried to explain what he meant or he should have apologized. But instead, he decided to hit her with, well, we did have a conversation and we said this wasn't it. So we were deciding to sort of leave it there and keep it stepping. And yet we didn't get to see the conversation. We didn't. So for him to come up with this conversation that he's saying they had, well, producers didn't show it to us. So it's either it's going to be shown at the reunion or it's going to be shown at commitment ceremony, which I really doubt it will be shown because the producers have a narrative that they're going with. And so for him to tell her that you'd had 5 margaritas, so you might not remember, why are you having a conversation, an important conversation with someone you believe to be intoxicated, Elliot? Explain that for us, for the rest of the class to understand. Why would you feel like having a conversation with someone who's intoxicated and is not able to sort of rationalize what's taking place? And so I love that Clint stood up for his wife. He stood up on business and said, you're very disrespectful. What you did is unacceptable. Because everyone was asking for an apology. You had Jamie say to him, you should have walked in and apologized to Lauren to say, I'm sorry for the way I treated you. I sincerely apologize for that. And I hope you're happy. But instead, you're saying that you did her a favor by calling things off. And now she's found someone she really likes. And it's like, this man is an idiot. I don't know what people don't get. Elliot is an idiot. And sadly, the producers have decided to enable his idiocracies and whatever nonsense he's going to get up to in the experiment, all in the name of ratings, as far as I'm concerned, because there is no justification for why they brought him in. Everybody else cannot understand why they brought him in. I love that, Lauren's new husband told him that, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. And for Elliot to then go in the confessional and start saying, oh, her husband is like a deer in headlights. He's just staring at me. He doesn't know what he's doing. And it's like, this man is made. He's not you who call yourself a business owner just because you sell a couple of things online. He apparently appears to be very well made. And he's definitely an upgrade from you. So I wish this had been a teachable moment for you. But then again, you said you no one will teach you anything. You are most likely not going to learn anything from anyone. So hey, you're just going along with your plan as stated. And it's really sad. I can't wait for the commitment ceremony because I hope that the producers give the experts footage of what actually transpired so that everybody knows the truth. I love that Veronica called him out. I said this before and I'll say it again. Veronica is going to be his undoing. She's going to humble Elliot. She's going to humble Elliot because he could get away with saying and doing whatever he wanted to Lauren. But Veronica is really going to humble him because he seems to really like her. I agree with her. There's his version, there's Lauren's version, and then there's the truth. But still at the same time, I would be side-eyeing him because of the comments that he made. And I love that she called him up on the alcohol comment to say you told her that she was intoxicated. This is why she can't remember. There's no need to shame her. And it's like, good for you. Jackie really likes being the center of attention, doesn't she? Because after the Elliot and Lauren situation is over, she then decides to stand up and she goes to her husband and she says, can you name a couple of things that you like about me? And it's like, Jackie, read the room. Read the room. The two of you are the last people that everyone wants to hear talk because you sort of monopolized the wedding and now you're here. You want to be the center of attention. I feel like Jackie's putting on a performance because apparently she's an actress as well. So I think she's putting on a performance. She's just wanting attention because as Ryan starts to compliment her, I think she expected him to say, I love your eyes, I love your lips, I love your face. Well, he's busy talking about, I love the fact that you're a healthy eater. And then you have the likes of Jamie shouting, Ryan, how can you say you love the fact that she eats 5 fruit and veg a day? And it's like, Ryan is very stubborn. Jack is very stubborn. The thing is, they are so set in their ways that they want someone to come over and do what they want, whereas they're not willing to go over to the other side. So Ryan is stuck on, I'm not going to tell her that you're the most beautiful woman in the world. And she is stuck on, I want to hear that I'm the most beautiful woman in the world. And they're never, ever, ever going to be able to overcome that because the two of them are very stubborn and the two of them are very stuck in their ways. So until they can sort of have a conversation that is truthful, they'll never overcome that. You have the guy sort of ask that, okay, at the wedding, you told us you were done, Ryan. So what's going on? Where are you? Do you see a future with this marriage? Because everybody's confused. Everybody's asking. Everybody wants to know. I think even the viewers ourselves, we also want to know that, do they see a future? And Ryan says, yes, he can. You know, he came for a marriage, so he's willing to put in the work to make it successful. And personally, I feel like Ryan has realized that, you know, the woman he's with is I don't know what word to use for her that's politically correct. And so he's going to do and say anything outside of telling her you're the most beautiful woman in the world in order to stay on the show. The two of them have decided to ride this as that toxic, crazy couple, and that's who they're going to be, because nobody else is sort of standing into that position. So the two of them have decided, we're going to be the toxic couple. We're going to be the most confusing couple ever, because everybody is confused about them, and that's how they're going to be. And it's really sad. It really is sad, and I wish they could do something to overcome it. You have Jackie finally apologize to Ree. Ree accepts the apology as a way of moving forward because she's done with it. But I think she's right to say she's going to keep Jackie at arm's length. I would keep Jackie at arm's length, because you can never trust her again, because irregardless of the fact that she's saying, oh, I didn't want to do anything inappropriate with your husband, the question still remains, why did you tell him you didn't want his wife to know? So you have Billy, having seen an opportunity, sort of air out his grievance about the fact that there's something going on between Adrian and Sierra. Everyone can see that. Even a blind man can see that there's something going on. There's no two ways about it. And I think these two people have agreed that we're going to try and push this as far as we can. That way we can be recoupled and then we can go along as a couple. I think the producers should allow them to go home. At the end of the day, they should allow them to go home, because they've already brought back Elliot and Lauren. They can't recouple someone during the experiment, because it makes a mockery of the system. It really does, and it takes away the essence of it. I think the main reason why people on Married at First Sight Australia misbehave is because they know it's not legally binding, and so they can say and do whatever they want because it's not legally binding. Whereas in America, it's legally binding, so people may at least make a bit of an effort. Anyway, so after airing out his grievance, Billy then leaves the floor to, Afina to speak. And as she's trying to speak, you have Adrian trying to talk over her. I think he was trying to make sure that she didn't get in trouble. And so for Sierra to sit there and not feel the need to apologize doesn't make sense. Even Adrian not to apologize doesn't make sense. I don't understand this back and forth between the two of them. And I love that Billy actually stood on business. And when Adrian was trying to sort of talk over Afina, everybody at the table told him to allow her to speak. And now I think everybody can see what's actually going on. They tried to bring in Tony to try and neutralize it and make it seem like it was innocent because Tony was there, or we only shared a plate of meat. Seriously, of all the things that you did, I feel like they're already seeing one another. Whatever they're doing because they're already seeing one another. And I think they've decided not to be intimate with their partners. This is why they refuse to go back. This is why Sierra refused to share a room with Billy. And this is why Adrian said he wanted to go home. That's the impression that I get. And they must have had a conversation behind everybody's back and said, let's stay in the process. That way we can continue to strengthen our connection. Like Jono and Ellie from last season. This is the impression that I get. Adrian threw Billy under the bus and said Billy said he wanted a wife swap. And so, and then he winked at him and it's like, I'm getting you in trouble as well. And he was able to deflect that and then have Sierra storm off because she was now offended that how dare he say he wanted a wife swap. Oh, me, why me? Why did he say he wanted a wife swap? There is a lot more nuance to that conversation. For Sierra to go and sit there with Adrian and Tony and be having these conversations, I don't get it. I hope the four of them are sent home. As much as I love Billy and Afina, I hope the four of them are sent home. And then we can move on to something else. And this should be a teachable moment for anyone who enters the experiment, that when you enter the experiment, don't be physically intimate with somebody you don't know until you actually know whether they're serious about being in the experiment. I can't wait. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 15. Bye guys.